There is a subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the air when the trap is set. You are standing in a room, perhaps at a workplace gathering or a family dinner, and the conversation is flowing. Then someone looks at you and drops a remark, a compliment wrapped tightly in barbed wire. It takes a lot of courage to wear something so loud, they say. Or, I wish I had your free time. I've just been too successful lately to relax. The words are impeccably polite. On paper, they might even read as friendly, but the intent is a precise surgical strike at your dignity. The room goes quiet for a fraction of a second. The insult hangs in the air, a shadow attack designed to bypass the social rules of direct confrontation. Pay attention to what happens inside your body in that exact moment. Your heart rate spikes. Your chest tightens. A sudden, desperate urge rises in your throat to defend yourself, to explain your choices, or to deliver a devastating counterstrike. You want to drag their hidden malice out into the light and force them to answer for it. But the moment you open your mouth to respond, you have already lost. You have lost because you just stepped willingly into a courtroom where the other person is both the judge and the executioner. We are not going to dissect clever comebacks or witty retorts to put your enemies in their place. Cleverness is merely a polished form of begging to be understood. Instead, we are going to examine the psychology of the veiled insult and why the ultimate expression of human power is letting those poisoned words hang in the dead air, completely and utterly unclaimed. Our modern instinct is to clarify. We operate under the naive assumption that if we simply explain ourselves better or expose the logical flaws in someone's disrespect, they will suddenly see our worth. This is an illusion of control. We believe we can engineer the perceptions of others through sheer force of will. The ancient Stoics recognized this as a fool's errand. They organized human experience around a concept known as prohairesis, our moral character, our reasoned choice. The inner citadel that is the only territory truly belonging to us. When someone issues a passive-aggressive insult, they are not actually making a statement about your reality. They are externalizing their own quiet misery, their unspoken jealousy, or their festering insecurity. They package their internal chaos into a neat little puzzle, hand it to you, and dare you to solve it. When you answer a passive-aggressive remark, even to defend yourself, you are validating their distortion of reality. You are communicating on a subconscious level. Your flawed perception of me is so dangerous and so important that I must halt my own life to correct it. True independence requires a radical shift in perspective. It demands that we view another person's veiled contempt not as a physical threat, but as a weather event. You do not argue with a sudden downpour. You do not demand that the clouds explain their disrespect. You simply open an umbrella or let the rain fall, knowing it has absolutely nothing to do with you. Passive aggression is at its core cowardice, masking itself as civility. The attacker desires the deep, visceral satisfaction of wounding you, but they are terrified of the liability of a fair fight. They want to draw blood while keeping their hands clean. This creates a perverse psychological theater. They lay a trap disguised as a casual observation. If you react with anger, the trap snaps shut. They immediately retreat into the safety of their polite phrasing. "Wow, you're being so sensitive," they will say. "It was just a joke. You're overreacting." Suddenly, by defending your dignity, you are painted as the unstable aggressor in the eyes of the room. The attacker wins because they forced you to act out their script. By answering, you agree to play the role of the defensive victim. The strongest response is to refuse the script entirely. When you look at an attacker with flat, unbothered comprehension, when you offer nothing but a brief nod or an unbroken silence, you dismantle their stage. You force them to sit alone in the awkward, deafening echo of their own malice. They set a fire, hoping you would burn, but instead they are left holding the match. We must ask ourselves a painful question. Why does a backhanded compliment actually hurt? It hurts because deep in the primitive architecture of our brains, a part of us still demands the approval of the tribe to feel safe. We want the person insulting us to respect us. We want them to see our value. But wanting respect from those who do not wish to give it is a massive psychological vulnerability. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once noted the absurdity of the human condition if you handed your physical body over to a random stranger on the street, letting them drag you around. You would be considered insane. Yet we hand our peace of mind over to anyone who casually drops a sneer in our direction. We let their words dictate our heart rate and ruin our evening. When you feel that desperate urge to explain yourself to a passive-aggressive remark, you must learn to recognize it for what it is. It is an internal beggar rattling a tin cup asking a hostile stranger for coins of validation. To become untouchable, you must cultivate autokeia, deep emotional self-sufficiency. The insult only finds purchase if there is a jagged hook of self-doubt inside you for it to catch on. When you know exactly who and what you are, another person's twisted words simply slide off the armor. You no longer need their respect to fund your reality. There is a psychological weight to an unanswered insult. Imagine someone handing you a heavily wrapped box containing something rotting and foul. If you reach out and take the box, the foulness becomes yours to manage. You have to unwrap it, smell it, and figure out how to dispose of it. But if you keep your hands at your sides and simply look at the box who does it belong to, it remains in the hands of the giver. Passive aggression is an orphaned resentment. The attacker is trying to hand you their bitterness because it is too heavy for them to carry alone. Let the remark land on the floor between you. Do not pick it up. Do not analyze it. Do not throw it back. The silence that follows a passive-aggressive remark when met with total, unblinking neutrality is agonizing for the attacker. It acts as a perfect mirror held up to their toxicity. Without your emotional reaction to distract them, they are forced to look at their own pathetic attempt to cause harm. You do not remain silent to punish them. You do not remain silent to assert dominance over the room or to look like the smartest person at the table. You remain silent because their internal chaos is simply not your jurisdiction. You are conserving your life force for things that actually matter. Choosing this path of quiet power will not magically fix the broken people around you. Do not adopt this silence expecting the world to suddenly bow to your unshakable composure. In fact, embracing this stoic detachment may cause the people who rely on your emotional reactions to dislike you even more. The passive aggressor may escalate their behavior. They may call you cold, arrogant, or aloof. Your refusal to play their game terrifies them because it highlights a profound lack of control in their own lives. There will be social friction. There will be whispers. You will be misunderstood. Let them misunderstand you. Let them whisper. The goal of a philosophical life is not to be universally loved, nor is it to win every petty battle of egos. The goal is to remain wholly unbothered by the noise of the crowd. Imagine walking through a dense wild forest. As you push through the brush, a dry thorn catches your sleeve. Do you stop your journey to scream at the branch? Do you demand that the tree explain why it attacked you, or do you simply unhook the fabric? Leave the dead wood behind to the wind and keep walking toward your destination. The next time the poisoned words are spoken and the room goes quiet, look at the person who spoke them. Observe them as you would observe a leaf falling to the ground. Then ask yourself, in the silence, will I bleed for a ghost or will I simply let them haunt themselves?